If people were able to do any exercise? Right? Doubts from the exercises? One page. Okay. Okay. 12, 14 and 15. 12, 14 and 15. So you have to find the error. It says you look unhealthy. So I suggest to you to take fruits regularly, no matter how costly it is. Now there are two mistakes I find here. So I suggest you take fruits regularly. First of all, to you to take shouldn't be there. I don't know what the answer will be there. And you're talking about fruits. Plural. So the last part, how costly it is, how costly they are. Okay. So even if you don't consider the errors in B and C, in D there is a clear error. And considering that this is regarding it was about pronouns. Yeah. So this is 12, then 14, 15. Yes. Can you give me at least 5 breads to eat? Because I'm so hungry that one or two won't do at all. Five breads. Yeah, so in this one, do you say 5 breads? When you talk about bread, will you say, you will say either slices of bread or loaves of bread. You won't say just breads, right? So either it will be give me 5 slices of bread or loaves of bread. It won't be just bread. Okay, and 15.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, could you please tell what are we doing?
We were discussing exercise 2 of chapter 1. How come you're online today? Unmute yourself. Okay, Harini, have you completed the exercises?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
I also had a doubt in the 15th one, but then I understood after I read the solution.
So what did you understand?
Ma'am, I have a doubt in the 29th question.
29th question. Okay, we come to that. So 15th one, receiving the mark sheet from the university, I realized that I had got only passing marks in English.
But it's pass, not passing.
Yeah, it won't be passing marks. We don't, in grammar at least, we don't say passing marks. Pass marks is a compound. No. Pass marks. Pass marks. Pass marks would be a compound noun. Right? So minor things, but yeah. Okay, any other before 29? Maybe? No doubts? You got all of them? You didn't do it. क्या हो गया? Oh, Nick, you had. Even if you did 5 questions a day, you could have finished. So I said you must devote at least half an hour a day. नहीं तो आपके मार्क कैसे निकलेगा? Shanika, any doubts? Right. Thank you, sir. So any between 16 and 21? No? No? 22nd, then 29th. Okay, if there are any more doubts, then just, you know. This says by 2050, 2/3 of the world's population would be urbanized. Yeah. Options are by 2050, 2/3 of the world's population. Okay, so here we would go with, I think B should be correct, 2/3 of the world's population. Right? You won't say 2/3 of world's population, of the world's population. Okay, then we come to 29. No doubts in any of the others? No? Okay, 29. 24. 24. Okay, we'll do 24 first. There are 3 rules of all relationships of all time in phenomena, according to which the existence of each phenomena is determined in respect to the unity of nil time. And these antecede all experience and render it possible. Okay, now what are we talking about? What's your subject? It says each phenomena is determined. So the next part of the sentence, and these and antecede, that should also be singular. There are 3 rules of all relationship for all time in phenomena, according to which the existence of each phenomena. Okay. Another thing here, each, when you're talking about each, what's the singular? Phenomenon. Phenomena is plural. Phenomenon is singular. So this would be phenomenon is determined in respect to the unity of nil time. And these, okay, these here would refer to the 3 rules, not the phenomenon. So these is fine here. It should be phenomenon instead of phenomenon. Okay. So according to that, B should be your answer. Do they have B an answer? Yeah. Yes, please. Okay, now 29. Find the correct match of the grammatical function with the usage of the word prophecy. His prophecies are most accurate. Now, prophecies here would be verb. Noun or verb? But
No.
yeah, okay, this
Noun.
was it will be noun. Yeah. In the second sentence, he had already prophesied this outcome. That will be verb. Right?
Are we focusing on the word prophecies and prophes?
Prophecy, you have to look at the usage of the word prophecy, and they have asked whether it's a noun or a verb in each of the sentences. So in the first sentence, it's a noun, second sentence, it's a verb. So your answer should be C. Okay? Yeah. Okay? Any other doubts? No? Yes, do you
We
have
win 30th one.
30th one? Okay. So it says the question below consists of 4 sentences on a topic. Some sentences are grammatically incorrect or inappropriate. Select the option that indicates grammatically correct and appropriate sentences. So first thing, did you read the instructions correctly?
Yeah.
So what do you have to select? The grammatically correct sentences. Yeah, not the incorrect ones. Okay. So charges and counter charges mean nothing to the few million who have lost their homes. The nightmare is far from over for the government is still unable to reach hundreds who are marooned. The death count has just begun. Okay, so you have to figure out which are the correct options. So obviously you don't have any option which says all are correct. So there should be some errors. So if you look at the first part, A, charges and counter charges mean nothing. Any error in that? Do you find any error? No. To the few million who have lost their lives. Would you say few million? That's a contradiction. Huh?
It should be few millions.
We have to look for the ones that are correct. We are not looking for the ones which are incorrect. We have to eliminate the incorrect. You have to mark the correct. That's why I said read the instructions carefully. Most of the time we get a question wrong because we haven't read the instructions carefully. So here, what do we have to eliminate? Eliminate wrong options. Yeah. So is B correct?
No.
Few million. It shouldn't be few million, it should be millions. Right? Okay, so is C correct? The nightmare is far from over for the government is still unable to reach hundreds who are marooned. So C and D, the entire sentence seems to be correct or not correct.
The hundreds, right?
Yes, Remy?
D is still unable to reach the hundreds who are marooned.
The hundreds who are marooned.
And
Right.
why the?
But we are talking about a specific number. Yeah, the hundreds would be more specific. Now, the death count has just begun. We said death count has just begun. Seems all right. Yeah. Would the death count Either you would say the death count is just rising, it won't be begun. Right? So the correct options would be A is correct, C is correct. Now if you look at D, you can say reach hundreds or no, reach the hundreds would be correct. So only A and C are correct. Okay, any other? Do you have any doubts? Have you done the entire exercise? Any doubts? 25. Okay. Only 10 minutes are allowed to each student. Now we are talking about 10 minutes. 10 minutes is what? 1 unit. Yeah. When you take 10 minutes as 1 unit, in this context, 10 minutes is allowed, not allowed. Okay. Any other? No? No, this okay. Okay, what about your words? Anyone with words? Kushni? No? So module 5 में I told you to do just 2 sets. Right? Okay, anyways. So any doubts from last lesson? Okay, I told you to do the first 15 questions from the tenses for exercise 1. Anyone with it? What about it? Remember? Can go through them. Oh, okay. Tenses, in the PPT, I had also given some exercises. Have you gone through those? You went through them. Did you solve them? Did you get them right? Any doubts in those? Okay, I'll just give you one more. So we can see the screen. Yeah. So this question, anyone did this? You haven't done it? Okay, fine. So these we didn't do in class last time. So in this question, can you solve it? The sentence is, this world, she said, is full of sorrow. Wish I were dead. So you have to convert into indirect speech. Option number 3. She observed that the world was full of sorrow. She wished to be dead. Let's see. She wished to be there is correct. Now we have to see if the first part is correct or not. Yes. Any part?
Why can't it be two? She said that the world was full of sorrow.
The
I
word
mean, is
was
it necessary to use observed?
the word we said. This word she said is full of sorrow. Wish I were there. It could be observed, like you are talking about something that is happening. The world is full of sorrow. You can say observed. Is it said? Yeah. Said is correct. Observed is also correct. But there's something more to it. Think. Now, if observed could be correct, now one thing you have to, when you get these type of questions where two options can be correct, that means those two options are not. Because you will never get two correct options. Means something else should be correct. Right?
And she observed the world to be full of sorrow. Will we frame it like that?
So here if we see, she wished to be there is correct. Right? Now the world is full of sorrow. This is a fact. According to her, this is a fact. Yeah. Now, when we talk about facts, what tense do we use? Present tense. So we need is. So which of the sentences has is? First one. That's your answer. Right? So remember, IP match questions, this is one of the previous year questions. IP match questions will not be straightforward. They want to see whether you can analyze properly or not. Right? So this was one of those higher level analytic questions. Yeah. And whenever you have two options which seem to be correct, and you can't find any error in that, but this also can be the answer, that also can be the answer. Always remember that is a clue that those two cannot be the answer, something else is the answer. Right? So two options will never be correct today. There will always be only one correct option. So whenever you have this doubt that, okay, this also seems correct, that also seems correct, now what to do? Look for the third option. Okay? This one, you have to change the voice. Or rather you have, the correct voice of the correct active voice. You have to figure out the correct active voice. So you break down now you have a big sentence. What do? Break it down into parts. Yeah. So what are the parts? It says the education camps in different states have been arranged for students by the Central Board of Education. Now we know that we need active voice. That means the subject or the doer should come first. Right? So who's the doer? Central Board of Education. Right? So that should come first. So what do we eliminate? Now by the Central Board of Education can be eliminated. D can be eliminated. Now we have two sentences beginning with the Central Board of Education. Now, which of these will be correct?
Ma'am, C.
See? Now look at the tense of the given sentence. Now if you look at A, it says Central Board of Education is arranging the education camps in different states for students. C says the Central Board of Education has arranged the education camps in different states for students. Yeah. Your given sentence is education camps in different states have been arranged. Yeah. So would is arranging be correct? No. Right? So we go with C as arranged. So now when you have options, what is the first thing you do? Eliminate. Right? So when you eliminate, at least two options get eliminated. You don't have to think about them. And then you go into analyzing whatever it says. Obvious errors, eliminate. Don't start reading all of them. First, break down your given sentence. See what is required. Eliminate options which don't have that requirement. Then go into analyzing the options removed. Yeah. You have to select the passive form of the sentence. Your sentence is the government is worrying about the severe natural calamity in the northern UK. You need a passive voice. Now, all of them begin with the severe natural calamity. Yeah. So, based on that, you cannot eliminate, so you look at the rest of the sentence.
Ma'am, we can eliminate A and D.
You can eliminate. You are eliminating B, but A and D. Okay. See when I in the other meaning is worrying about, yeah, D is absolutely wrong. So now B and C. Severe natural calamity in the northern region is being worried about by the government. The severe natural calamity has been worried about by the government. So now both are grammatically correct as they are. Yeah. Now what do we require? We have to look at the tense of the given sentence. What is the tense of the given sentence? Present tense. So we need a present tense sentence. So what's your answer then? B. So I think you've done the rest of them for homework. Okay, there are few questions here which you can do for homework. Right? Complete them. Okay, who hasn't done the homework questions for not done? What about you? Not done. Okay, remember to do these questions. So whenever I share PPT and if there are some questions in them, whether we've done in class or not, whether they are marked for homework or not, please do that. So over the week, you have to go through the PPT, but that's revision for you. What I teach in class, will you remember to the next week? No. No one can, even I can't. So go through them, do the questions. And you have the exercises also with So do you have any doubts in the tenses so far? No? So before we begin our lesson, I have put down just a few words. So what root words will you do? Don't remember them? Remember something, one or two? No, on your own. I told you to go through the root words. Didn't forgot. I know वो जैसे स्कूल में करते थे ना डायरी to write down your homework and that. I didn't put it into the group because I thought that you will all remember. Okay, anyway, you can go through the root words later. We'll just put in a couple of root words here. Okay, so our root word for today is PUGN, pug. Means to fight. Any word comes to your mind? With root word PUGN or PUGN plus A or PUNG. Pungent smell is yeah, but it doesn't relate to fight. It relates to something which is not good, repulsive, right? Pugnacious means fighting nature. Pugnacious. You people have been playing games? You play PUBG? Don't play PUBG? So that's also related to fighting. If you know what it is, right? Okay, let's look at some words.
Used to play.
So that comes from the root word pug, right? N is silent in here, but if you look at the word pugnacious means having a quarrelsome or aggressive nature. You can write it down. Right? Repugnant. That is offensive or distasteful, right? It's similar to repulsive. Pungent, which means a very strong smell or piercing, yeah, which just hits you like that, right? So now our next word is port. Portable, this can be carried. Transport, yeah. Simple port. What does the word port relate to when you're talking about the where the ships dock? It's carrying goods, right? So port relates to carrying goods or things. Export, to carry goods out of a place to another, right? X means out. Export, import will be to transport goods into a place, right? Portable, something which can be carried. Porter, a person who carries luggage, yeah. Nowadays you have service companies which name themselves porter, what are they doing? Carrying goods, right? Okay, purge. So we have 3 words. Purge means clean. Any word comes to your mind? No? Part? Any word with purge? So when you P-U-R-G-E, purge means removing something undesirable. It could be anything. Yeah? It could be a feeling, it could be a physical thing. It could also relate to a person. Purgatory means to clean yourself of anything unwanted, or say when we talk about in the religious terms, it could mean to clean off sin. Yeah, purgatory means to clean yourself of something unwanted. Yeah, usually related to emotions or feelings. Expurgate. Now here we have 2 root words, ex plus purge. So it means removing objectionable passages from a publication. Like if you are an editor of, say, a newspaper or maybe a social media site. So when you are removing anything that material or posts which are objectionable, what are you doing? You are expurging those posts. Yeah. So expurgate. Okay, those are root words. Now coming to words, right? Now it's easy to remember words when they are related. So I've tried to put them in groups. You can try to do it yourself also. Look for group words and maybe, yeah, so the group that we created, I have started putting it. Okay, anybody who finds that names are not visible, or rather we can do one thing. Each one of you just pin and put in your name. So everyone knows, okay, this number belongs to this person. And we can save it by name. Okay? Because we don't know who is. Okay, so words related to denial or giving up. So if you look at words related to giving up, abandon, which means giving up something as in disowning, right? So you abandon something means you don't want it anymore. Seed, C-A-D-E, seed, relates to surrender. The army ceded its territory, right? So surrender or relinquish to physical control. So if you maybe there are 2 groups in a debate. One group is anyway losing. So they give up. Means they cede. And also receive. So when you relinquish control, disavow. Want to write the words? Or I'll share this so you can write it. You can add these to your list of words. Disavow, refuse to acknowledge or disclaim. Usually relates to responsibility or any association. Right? Forsake, common word. Forsake something means again abandon, where you don't keep any relationship with somebody. You forsake, like the father forsake his son because he didn't want to to have anything to do with. Right? Renounce, to give up power, or like monks renounce the world. So to give up any obligation, duties, or even say things that you require, resign, to give up responsibility. Resign from a post. Surrender. So surrender and seek would mean the same. So if you have seed instead of surrender, or if you are given the word seed and you are asked to write synonyms, surrender would be a synonym of seed. Now let's look at words which mean refusal. Rebuff, rejecting outright. Right? Or rejecting bluntly. Refute. What do you mean by refute? You come across the word before. You refute something means prove it to be false. Right? Sounds familiar? Okay. Controvert. Contro means opposite. Controversial means controversial means something that is not according to the rule or not according to the norms. Controvert is denying the truth of something. Right? Contro would relate to something opposite or deny. Invalidate. Does he know? Invalidate the truth or invalidate the, say you have a proof, but the judge invalidates the proof. Right? So show to be invalid. Negate, deny. Deny the truth. That would be negate. Rebut also means to deny the word. Huh? Yeah. These are all synonyms in fact. Right? Controvert is deny the truth. And rebut would be to deny or negate related to something, anything else also. Not only denying the truth. And negate would be denying the truth about something. Now refute is proved to be false. Refute could also mean to deny. Now to disprove or prove to be false is the same and also mean to deny. So these were our words for today. You can go through them. What happened? Okay, so now we move on to today's grammar topic. You also already doing sleepy. Naina? Huh? So don't feel sleepy. Grammar seems to be boring, but it's very good. There's small, minor things. If you miss out on, you don't get the right answer. Yeah. So today's topic will be adjectives. And if we have time, we will go on to adverbs. So what are adjectives? Everyone knows? Describe in a noun. Okay? And what are adverbs? Describe the verb or adjective or even a noun. Right? So now what type of adjectives do we have? What do adjectives do? It describes, it tells you something related to the noun, as in which one, what kind, how many, right? Or gives further information. Like Rahul is an honest person. What are we doing? describing the quality of the person, right? So we call this descriptive adjective. I ate some grapes, describing quantity. These mangoes are is telling us which mangoes. It's also called demonstrative. Now they won't ask you what type of adjective. They may ask you to identify the adjective, not identify in the other exams. Which way shall we go? Which? Asking a question, interrogative. So these are you are your own boss. What type of boss? Own boss. What's it doing? Possessive. Yes. No, this is a possessive adjective. Hello, Saul.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Sorry I'm late, ma'am. Actually, I was outside, ma'am.
You have to attend the class. Please be on time, otherwise you can miss out completely.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Actually, I was outside, ma'am.
Walking in at any point of time according to your wish, not acceptable. Yeah. So now we are looking at degrees of comparison. What do you mean by degrees of comparison? When you talk about adjectives, this is something that is important, right? So, what do you mean by degrees of comparison? Take a small, simple word, tall. Tall. What are the different comparisons that we can do? Taller, tallest. These are degrees of comparison. So when we say positive degree, tall is positive degree, right? What else is there? Comparative, comparing to something else, right?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
could you speak just a bit of louder because we are little.
I'm sitting. Maybe you can't hear me loud enough. नीचे आता है कि नीचे नहीं आता. Okay, I'll try to stand. Because actually I have a bad back, so I need to sit. Okay, so comparative degree means you are comparing to something else. Superlative means what? What does superlative mean? Nothing. Highest degree. So he is the tallest among all the boys. Right? Like Mira is tall, Mira is taller than Gauri. Mira is the tallest of all the boys. Okay, now what about? Now this was tall, taller, tallest. Now what about a word like difficult? IPMAT is difficult. That is positive. Yeah. Now comparing, cat is more difficult than IPMAT. So are we saying difficult though? No, more difficult. Cat is the most difficult MBA entrance exam. Most difficult is the highest degree, super. Yeah. So these are the different forms we have, and we will be going into the rules regarding the different comparisons and how to use adjective. So simple rules which are required. Now okay, rules regarding how to form the comparative, the positive, comparative, and superlative. So if you have a word ending with ER, if you have a word ending with a consonant and you have two vowels before that. Hmm? Now we come down to consonants and vowels. So words like cool, cooler, cool, you have EST and ER. So the comparative will be cooler, superlative will be coolest. Or say we have now the last consonant preceded by another consonant, two consonants. You can have either two vowels before the consonant or a consonant before the consonant. So these are rules. Now sometimes we would remember, otherwise we won't remember, doesn't matter, we should know what are the words coming. That much we can do. So application, we need to know. Dark, dark or darkest, simple. Now if you have a monosyllabic adjective, say big. What do you mean by monosyllable? You can't break down the word into two parts. One syllable. So words like a monosyllabic adjective like big, you double the last consonant and then you have ER or ES. Yeah. So big, bigger with double G like thin becomes thinner and thinnest. Okay. Now if you have a word ending with E, then also you add E. Now you don't add ER after that, obviously. Yeah. So you'll just add R and ST. Okay. Words ending with E, R and ST. Simple, simpler, simplest. Now, what do you do with words ending in Y? Like, how do you make plurals of word ending with I? Yeah. Similarly, here you are doing IER and IEST. Right? Anything ending in Y? It will not be wealthy with a YER, but IER. Busy, IER, IEST. Now, polysyllabic adjectives. So, like attractive. Attractive. So if you have a word which you can break up into two parts, now these we have been using for so long, so we know that it won't be attractive, right? It will be more attractive and more simple. So how do you, suppose you have some unfamiliar words. So see how many syllables does it have? 2 syllables, then more or most common. Important, like difficult, and more than 1 syllable. So important, more important, most important. Intelligent, same thing. Likely, small word, but it has 2 syllables. Right? Right? So it's not a word, just a word ending with "ly", but with 2 syllables. So it won't be likelier, it will be more likely or most likely. Now you could have some irregular adjectives which don't follow these rules. Makes it good. You say better and best. You won't say gooder. Yeah? Common sense, you don't use that. Like bad, worst, little, less, least in comparatives. Many goes into more and most. Now, when we are using indefinite adjectives like some, many, any, few, several, much, all, only. It becomes confusing sometimes. So let's look at the using. Now we know that many is plural countable now. So here we have to first identify whether these are countable or uncountable. Few is what? Countable or uncountable? Countable. Several? Countable. Much? How do you
Uncountable.
uncountable? How do you use much? So that's countable or uncountable? Uncountable. Right? So when you are confused, see how the word is used. Form a sentence with it. And you will be sure whether it is countable or not. So much is uncountable. So Anu didn't have much experience. That's what we say. On the way, she made many mistakes. Much time was wasted. It's an adjective, but when we are talking about adjectives, we are not comparing. Now don't confuse it with the comparisons. We'll come to the comparisons again. So these are adjectives, how to use countable and uncountable. So when you're talking about unproductive task and time, much time has been wasted. Not many time. Right? So time in general is uncountable. When we talk about hours, minutes, that becomes countable. Now little and less. How do we use it? It is uncountable. There is little milk in the jar. He has little sympathy. Uncountable. Less, similarly, is uncountable. But what about few? Countable. It refers to a small quantity. So it is countable. There is little milk left. Did you say few milk left? No. Only a few bottles of milk. When you say bottles of milk, then you can it as countable. This is an art class. What are you getting bored? We do not sell less than 10 kg of tea. In this case, we're talking about 10 kg. That has come. So when we are using less or little, it depends upon the context also. Yeah, less than 10 kg now. Here also we look at just less. It's still uncommon. But we're talking about a volume. And anything less than that particular amount, we are not counting that. If we say we sell 5 kg of tea, that is counted. Yeah, but less little would be uncounted. Fewer than is counted. 50 minus, we will not say no less than 50 minus. No fewer than 50 minus what can it is. So these are the type of questions that you will get. So sentence correction or identify the error. Maybe instead of few, you have little. Instead of much, you have many. Yeah. So you should know how to, where what word is supposed to be used. Okay, now some rules we get to. Now, how do you use some or any? Some or any both talk about quantity, right? But usage is different. I have some money. Do you have any money? Will you say I have any money? Yes, you can say, do you have some money? Will you say, give me some money? So, some is used in the affirmative. We will not use it in interrogative. Grammatically, you will not. In conversation, we do, but grammatically, you won't. Any would be used in negative or interrogative. Right? So if you're asking a question, you will use any. If I say I don't have any money, that is negative. I don't have some money, that will be negative. Right? So some will always be used in affirmative. Any will always be used in negative or interrogative. We have some oranges in the cup. Now, how will you convert this into negative? Convert this sentence into negative.
We don't have many oranges.
Any oranges.
We don't have any oranges in the cupboard.
We don't have any oranges. Will be negative. We don't have some oranges. Will be incorrect. Okay? Interrogative. Have you bought any oranges? We won't say, have you bought some oranges? Okay? Be very specific about this. Because usually when we say, did you get some oranges? Right? Now when you say that, remember that is incorrect. Right? So some as affirmative, any as interrogative or negative. Do we need any rice? We won't say, do we need some rice? Okay? Grammatically, some is not used in negative or interrogative. So, no, we don't need any rice. That's a negative. So, when we are talking about so any, much, many are used in the negative form, right? Like there weren't any people in the restaurant, right? There weren't many people can be used. Yeah. There isn't much milk in the jar. There isn't some milk in the jar. Much milk. Right? So much, many, any can be used in the negative form. No and none is it always used in the negative form. So there were no people at the restaurant. Were there any problems during the project? Interrogative. This is not a negative sentence. Interrogative, any. There were none. Means that were negative sentences. So these are rules that we are going through. You have to remember these rules. Yeah, so when you are doing the exercises, you will come across application of all these rules. Yeah, so after you go home, remember to go through these. There are lots of rules. I don't expect you to remember all of them by heart, but you should know them to at least apply. So when a sentence comes up, you should know, okay, yeah, this was a rule I came up with. So when you have two nouns and you're comparing them and they have the same quality, no. Right, which is the best of the two models of car? Yeah. So what are we comparing? Models of car. Right? Will we say which is the best? What will we say? Which is better of the two models? So we have just two of them. So when we are comparing two things, what do we use? We use the comparative, we don't use superior. Now, if we have more than two or many, then we can say this is the best. Right? But when we are comparing only two, we will not use superlative, we will use comparative. Now, when we are talking about qualities, two qualities of the same person. For example, Anna is wiser than Bill. Is it correct? So we are comparing two qualities, wise and brave. And one of the qualities is more than the other. Right? So we will not say wiser than brave, we will say more wise than. Right? So instead of using ER form of the word, we use more wise, because we are talking about two qualities of the same person. Right? It's a very important question that comes. So whenever you have one person and two qualities of the same person, always more dash than dash. Right? So we have Ram is more strong than intelligent. We won't say Ram is stronger than intelligent. Or we won't even say more stronger. More stronger will be wrong because we are using two comparatives at the same time. More is a comparative in itself. Stronger is a comparative in itself. We don't use two comparatives together. So remember this, when you have two qualities of the same person, more dash than dash. Right? She is more clever than intelligent. We won't say cleverer than intelligent. Are you feeling cold? Now, when we are comparing an object with others, right? So, for example, he is smarter than any boy in the section. First of all, what are we comparing? Now, in any sentence which has comparisons, first thing you do is break it down and see what are we comparing. We are comparing one boy to any boy in the class. Any boy. Is that correct? He is smarter than any other boy. Right? So when we are comparing one item to others belonging to the same class, or then we use any other instead of just it. Not able to concentrate. Yes. So he is smarter than any other boy. If the other is missing, it's an error. Right? What about this? Tia is smarter than most of her friends. We won't say Tia is smarter than her friends. Right? We usually do that. Smarter than most of her friends. Okay, now iron is harder than any metal. That's incorrect. Iron is a metal in itself. Iron is harder than any metal. Would be incorrect. What would the correct form be? Correct form? Any other metal. Right? This building is larger than any building in the town. Any other building. So this is clear. So when you are comparing, first thing, figure out what is being compared. Yeah. If you have any coming in, you have to be alert. So we are comparing the boy to any boy, which is incorrect. We have to be comparing the boy to any other boy. Any other is the correct. Now rule number 5. When you have superior, inferior, senior, junior, that is, it should always be followed by 2. Elder, 2. Senior, 2. Not senior than. Junior, 2. We usually use that. Okay? So this is something to remember. Whenever you are using words, or you can remember it like this, words ending in OR, comparative adjectives ending in OR, you use 2. Prefer also OR or ER. Prefer 2. You prefer X to Y. You don't prefer X than Y. Prefer 2. So that's some examples. He is elder. 2, not than. Right? Elder, 2.
Mom, when we are using older, mom, then it becomes than, right? He is older than me.
Older can be that. Because older is when, okay, older is used when, not when. Okay, will you say he is older than me? No. You will not use older when you are comparing two people. Older is used when you have more than 2. He is older than the rest of them. Or this is the oldest of the buildings.
Mom, so we can't compare 2 people while using older.
No. Older can be used when you have, say, a group of more than 2. Usually, when you're comparing 2 people directly, you use elder.
Mom, so if we are comparing 2 people in the third person, mom, say for example, Robert is mom, it will be Robert is elder than Chris, or Robert is older than Chris.
Robert is elder to Chris.
All right, elder to Chris.
Whenever you are using elder, remember one thing, elder doesn't go with that.
Yeah.
Elder goes with two. Yeah. Similarly, superior to, inferior to, prior to, prefer to, not than. Yeah, all these words go with only two. Okay. Rule number 6, when comparison is made by means of a superlative, then the thing compared should include the class of things. Right? She is the strongest of all other women. Would be wrong. Because she belongs to the class of women. Right? So what would be the correct form? If I say she is strongest of all other women, it is wrong. What would be the correct form? Of all women. She is strongest. So we are using the superlative. Strongest will be there. Strongest of what? Of
And
all
we
women. What? Of all
we
women.
can say she is the strongest among all women.
Yes, but yeah, we can say she is the strongest among all women. That's what's correct. But we won't use other. Here we are talking about using other. Other would be incorrect. Only all women. Now other would mean excluding her. Right? But here what are we doing? What are we meant to compare? She is inclusive of all the women. She's included in the group. So, of all the women. Now, when you compare two things, they should be logically compared, right? That means we should be comparing similar things or same parts of things. For example, if we say the population of Lucknow is greater than Delhi, would that be correct? We usually say this, don't we?
The population of Lucknow is greater than that of Dehradun.
That of Delhi. So in this particular sentence, as it is given, what are we comparing? We are comparing the population to Dehradun. We are comparing population to city. Can we compare population to city? We should be comparing population of one city to the population of the other city. But in this particular sentence, what are we comparing? Population to city, which is incorrect. So either we will say the population of Dehradun or that of Dehradun. So that refers to the population. Life in the country is different from the city. That of the city. So what are we supposed to compare? The life. Yeah, life in the two places. So these are very common questions. In fact, all the rules we are doing, people will get some question on. Maybe not all, but at least some. And this is one of the really favorite questions when they will give you this type of sentence and see if you can compare to it. It could be a short sentence or a long one. Okay, next rule. Double comparative or superlatives are not used. Example. He is most strongest boy in class. Yeah. He is the strongest. Most and strongest are both superlatives. So more would be comparative, most will be superlative. Strongest is also superlative. He is the strongest boy. He is stronger would be comparative. Right? See, comparative means what you're comparing to things. And superlative is he is superior to all of them. Right? Can you compare that? Ram is more wiser than Shiv. Just wiser. Right? Not more. Now we have one that is very complicated. Superlative form preceded by the. So when you have a superlative, which is so when you have the coming in, even form, you use the superlative form of it. Right? He is the tallest boy in class. Tallest is superlative. What do you use before that? The tallest. You won't just say Shyam is tallest boy in class. You have to have the coming. Right? Disha is the fastest. Okay, now we said prefer to. Yeah, preferable to. What is preferable? Say we have coffee is more preferable to tea. Would we use it that way? No. More preferable, both are comparatives. Or rather, they are superlatives. Both are used for comparison. So double comparison cannot come. Right? So prefer or preferable would be just. So when you use preferable, it is not more preferable. Or if we say coffee is preferred, or would we say coffee is more preferred? Just preferred. Yeah. We are choosing one over the other. More will not. Okay, so when you are comparing something, one or more things with a group, right? So if you are whatever you are comparing, if they do not belong to the group, then how do we write it? The girls are cleverer than the boys. Is it correct? Now we have the girls and the boys. They belong to two different groups, right? Now we can say more clever, but cleverer than the boys would be what? Compared. Clever can be cleverer. Can it be? Cleverer is correct. ER. Grammatically, it isn't correct. Grammatically, cleverer is correct. Yeah. So when we the rule is when we are comparing two things which do not belong to the same group, what do we use? Comparative form. Right? And this we have done earlier, when we are comparing one item which belongs to a group, then what we use? We use a superlative. And of all the boys, right? Ashok is the youngest. Will we say just of the boys in the class? Of all the boys in the class. And it will be Ashoka is the younger. Will be correct? No. In that case, it will be superlative. So if we have two items belonging to different groups, we use the comparative form. If we have two items where one belongs to the other, say a unit belonging to the group, then we use superlative. Correct? So at least when you read a sentence, you should be able to identify these things. Now, they won't ask you the rule, but you should know whether the rule is being applied. Okay, now when we are talking about adjectives like absolute, perfect, or complete, what are these adjectives doing? They are already in the extreme form. So will we use a double comparative? Can we say more absolute? More round? It is round. It's an absolute shape. Maybe it is irregular, it could be more round. But if it is already round, you can't say it is more round than the others. Both are round. If you have, say, a coin, and you are comparing it to a round cut glass, will you say the coin is more round? No. So, you have to remember, when you have an adjective which is already in the extreme form, you cannot use a comparative here, right? Or you won't say rounder, more square, more unique. So this we already did. When you have the highest degree, you use the superlative form. Like Dheeraj is the youngest boy in our class. That is the extreme form, youngest. She is the best actress I have ever seen. That is also a super. So when you're talking about the greatest degree, we use super. Okay, now this we did in a different way. So when you have more than one adjective and it is connected with and, two adjectives, wiser and stronger, and you're comparing two people. Yeah. So in that case, what will you do? It can be both will be in the comparative form or both will be in the superlative. You can't have one in the comparative, one in the superlative. Right? So we say Ram is wiser and stronger than Shyam. So we are comparing two qualities connected by and. So we are using the superlative form in both of them, or the comparative form for both of them. So we won't say Ram is wise and stronger than Shyam. That will be incorrect. So if we have more than 2, then suppose we have if we have three, say more than 2 items, right? Tea, coffee, and milk, and was asking which is better. Can we say which is better in 3 things? You can say which is better among 2 things. When we have 3, we have to say which is the best of them. So, which is best? And when we say, when we use 2, when we have just 2 items, we will not use superlative, we will use comparative. Like we won't say he is best of the 2 students. He is better of the 2 students. So when you are comparing 2 things, you go with comparative. When you are comparing more than 2 things, so of this, is it getting confusing? Right? Just a couple of laws. When you have 2 of the same class. So, like, large is stronger of the 2 boys. Is that correct? Can we say that? So what are we doing? Large is stronger. Now you have, what are you comparing? Large and there are 2 boys. So large is stronger than Ram would be correct. Now of the 2 boys, yes or no? Yes. Large is stronger. Large belongs to the group. In this case, if you look at that way, the 2 boys is making a group. So he is stronger of the 2 boys. So when you have comparing 2 of the same kind, now Raj belongs to the boys. Raj is also a boy. Yeah. So we won't say Raj is stronger than the boys. Now, if you are talking about many boys, then what would we say? Then any of the boys. Yeah, any of the other boys. Do we say other boys? No, any of the boys. And if you're just talking about 2 boys, is stronger of the 2 boys. So this of the is important to be here. Stronger of and the. Right? Now let's look at the next one. So when we say when Dan is followed or as is followed by the first or second person. The large is not as clever as is the other is. What are we comparing? The quality of both of them. So when we are writing, it implies that Raj is not as clever as his brother is clever. Right? It implies. But we don't write the second thing. So we just write Raj is not as clever as his brother is. He is more intelligent than you. If you expand it, what does it come up to? If you expand, he is more intelligent than you. It would be he is more intelligent than you are. Or you are intelligent. So do we need to write you are intelligent? No. We just write he is more intelligent than you. But it doesn't mean that you are comparing your intelligence to just the person. You are comparing your intelligence to the other person's intelligence. So if your sentence read, he is more intelligent than him, would that be correct? We did this when we did pronouns. So when we are comparing, what is the pronoun of the comment? Would we say he is more intelligent than him? Or Raj is more intelligent than him? Or Raj is more intelligent than he is? Right? So when you come up with pronouns in this case, then expand. Expand and see what it is coming to. So you won't say that Raj is more intelligent than him is. You'll say Raj is more intelligent than he is. So whenever you have a comparison and your sentence is not complete, or something is implied but is not written down, expand the sentence and see what it should be. Right? So now we have we were talking about some irregular comparisons earlier. We don't follow the comparative and superlative rule. Like good, better, best. Ram is good, Ram is better than Jack. Rosie is best. Now when you're using better, what are you using? Than. Comparative? Than. Superlative? Of. Right? Of all the students. Okay, now this is a little confusing sometimes. Late, later, and latest. Late, you know, refers to just time, he is late. Yeah, or I was late in coming. Now, when do you use later? Later means something coming after or a time coming up. Yeah. So later than the expected time. Right? What about latter? Or say latest. Latest is new. That is what has come in just now. Or after everything else. Right? That would be latest. Now, if you were to use latter, LATT here.
There are two words, the latter and forward. Forward means next coming. The forward means old one and later means next.
Latter would be, if you have two things, the one that is coming afterwards would be latter. The latter of the two. Yeah. So maybe you had two questions. You attempted the first, but I didn't attempt with the latter. Yeah.
So can it like I attempted the forward, but didn't get like that.
Yeah. So the latter pages of the book were top, means the ones which came in late. My school building is the last one in the street. Yes. That's simple coming in at the end. Now we come to old, older, elder, oldest, and eldest. How do we use this? Now, elder and eldest is used for people only, living things, not for objects. Right? There's one rule you have to remember. And elder will come with two, not than, it is as. Sanika? Yeah? Okay. Now, what about old and older or oldest? Older or oldest can be used with people or with things. Like a building, city. Yeah. When you talk about a city or a thing, we will not use elder. We will use older or oldest. Or like my brother is 5 years old. That's why we use old. Now, if we say my brother is 5 years older than me, you can say that. Older than me,
But it is open. So okay, it is older.
that time we were using elder. Elder too. Now, if we suppose older than is not commonly used, but if we do use, then there should be a than after only. Right? But the correct form would be elder too. Eldest or oldest. Grammatically, both are correct, but when we are using, like my brother is the eldest of the three, or my brother is the oldest of the three, or my brother is the oldest among us. That is also correct. But you will not say, my brother is the eldest among us. Eldest will go with, will always be followed by, like if there are many, then of these people. If we are talking about two, elder two. Right? Now, if you are talking about things, we visited the oldest buildings. Or this building is the oldest of all. Now we have another set of words, far, further, and farthest. What does further mean with a U? Further with a U. What is that? Anybody part suddenly? Can you have your videos on? Part, can you hear me? Further with a U. How do you use it? Think of a sentence with further. Hmm? Can you hear a little louder? At the end of?
Now I can hear you, but my laptop is being hanging.
So further ahead, yes, means more. For when we talk about further, it would be referred to more, right? And all of them can be used for distances. Now, farthest is used for physical distance. Yeah, he lives farthest from school. Means the distance is the greatest. Further can be used for physical distances as well as figurative. Yeah, we need to work hard further. We need to work on this project further. A further research needs to be done. So the idea is more. Furthermore, that is a compound word. Furthermore means apart from. We're talking about only further, which will have the meaning more or in addition to also. So we can say he lives far from the city, just distance. Hmm. He lives further down the city. We're talking about distance when we are saying further. We had chosen the farthest point. Farthest here means is talking about superlative. And you're comparing. Farthest is the extreme. So we won't say he lives farther down the city. AR will not come. It will be UR. Further details are needed to prove the point. Means more details are it. Okay. Okay. Now we come back to few, a few, and the few. Now we did what few intends to do. What does few intend to do? Countable or uncountable? Count. Right? Now, what about a few? How would you use it in a sentence? A few things. Let's go into details. Few indicates a small number. When we use it in a sentence, it would have a negative implication. I have just a few pennies. Right? I have just a few shirts. What does it mean? More negative. I don't have enough. Right? Everyone sign. So few people attended the meeting. Means not many. Right? So the connotation when using only few would be negative. Okay? Now a few. A few has a positive connotation. I have a few shirts which I can wear. Means I do have these. It's a positive way of saying. Right? So when you have a few, it means a small number, but with a positive implication. A few people came to the party. It's a positive way of saying that yes, a few people did come. Instead, if I said few people came to the party, what would that imply? Not many people came. Right? So adding a to few makes a lot of difference. You may say it's just an article, changes the meaning. Right? Now, what about the few? It's more specific and usually used when something has been mentioned about the word. Right? Or we know about it. The few books I borrowed from the library were all I needed for the project. The few books I borrowed, specific number of books and specific kind of books. Right? So, and it is something that is definite. It's not something that, or if I say, I borrowed a few books from the library. Is that definite? No. We are not talking about something definite. I just borrowed random few books. Right? The few books I borrowed were useful, something specific. Right? I borrowed few books. I didn't borrow many, I just borrowed a few books. Random books, but with a negative connotation. So, difference between few and the few. Very important. So just few would be more like not many. A few would be a positive connotation. The few would be when you are referring to something more specific. Okay. Now what about little, a little and the little? It's just me. It's not just little. Little, a little, the little. What does that mean? There is little milk left. What does that imply? Really? What does it imply when I say there is little milk left? What implication does it have?
But there's the quantity is very less, but
Yeah.
obviously it's not countable.
Not much. Yeah. So that would be again negative connotation. So when we say just a little, it is singular uncountable with a negative connotation. Like if I say there is little hope. Little is always used for uncountable. Few is used for countable. Yeah. So if I say there is little hope for his recovery, I'm talking about not much hope. Right? Or little, here we are talking about positive connotation. Yeah. For example, I have a little money. Means I have something. If I say I have little money without the verb, what does that mean? Not enough. Right? If I say I have a little money, I have some. I can manage with. Right? The little again refers to something which is specific. And this can be positive or negative. Right? Example, I spend the little money I have. So the specific amount of money I had, I spent. Now, suppose we say the little information we have was not three. There was too little information. Right? So that specific amount of information was too less. So the little information. So you know the difference between all little, the little, a few, the few, and only few. Yeah, is important. You can go to the examples in the book also.
Sometimes we say the little amount of information. So is that amount word wrong or
It's okay. The little information or the little amount, it is like when we talk about grammar, it would be wrong. Because little means small amount. So little amount, that amounts to redundancy. Redundancy, that is repetition. So little means small amount. Small amount, you won't say. So amount would be relative. So when we are speaking, we do say grammatically. So there are lots of things we use, lots of words we use, and lots of phrases we use, which grammatically may not be accepted. But because we are studying grammar for an exam, we have to follow the rules. Yeah? Maybe when you are speaking, not important. But yes, when you are speaking and you do come across such phrases or words, it will strike. Right? Okay, so now we come to when you have, say, more than two or more adjectives describing something. There's an order in which the adjectives will be written. Any idea? No? Now suppose, so the order would be opinion comes first, next comes size, after that comes age, then shape, color, origin, material, and purpose. So this is the order of the adjectives describing something. Yeah? Never came across? So when you are doing a sentence and there are three adjectives given, and you will, it seems correct. Grammatically, it seems correct. Everything else is correct. And you are asked to correct it. And in your options, you have other forms. So then you must know that, okay, what is the order of the adjectives, order in which the adjectives come? Yeah. So anything related to, say, when we talk about, and another thing, like when you have or, the, or some, right? So when you have one particular adjective coming in three forms, then the order will be or, the, some. Right? Confusing? Very confusing. No. Yeah, it is a little hard to remember. Suppose we're talking about opinion. So, what do you think of the person? He's a smart person. Right? He is intelligent. Yeah? So if we have, he is an intelligent tall boy. Intelligent will come up first, tall will come up. Tall, intelligent boy, both are adjectives, but tall is describing what? Physical appearance. So physical appearance will come after opinion. Right? So size comes after opinion. Physical quality, that is how it is. Whether something is neat, ugly, beautiful, will come after size. Okay? Age comes next. Fourth will be age. Yeah, age or she. Young, young, youngest. So whatever form, whether it is comparative, superlative, doesn't matter, but it will come after opinion, size, and physical appearance. Fifth will come color. Sixth will be origin or say something related to origin. Suppose I said I am an Indian. And before that I said that so and so is an intelligent, well-read Indian. What will come first? Intelligent will come first. Then well-read.
It should come first. The written is very first.
Physical is before.
So it should come first.
Age should come first. Age comes before color. Comes
No,
on.
it should come before physical punishment.
No, after physical. Let's look at size, age, shape. Okay. What will come back? Is written today. Okay, I'll get it. Okay, then material out of which something is made. Any idea? So, just finish this. last one. Okay, material will come after that. Type, when we talk about what type of a thing it is. And last comes purpose for what it is used. Right? So, like a beautiful, big, old, round, brown wooden blocks. Beautiful. Its appearance, how it is. Big is the shape or size. Old is the age. Right? Brown is specific color. Wooden is the material. Right? Also these like lovely old leather armchair. Right? Because one more thing related to this. Now, if you have two or more adjectives belonging to the same group, then what do? You connect it with and commas. Yeah. For example, green and red. The house is green and red. The library has old and new books. Here you will not say old comma new books. If you have more than two, then you will use comma, right? Big is the size. Then the rest of the three relate to only color. Right? So the colors come together and you can have comma and as you put things in a sequence. Okay? So we will end it today. We will go through the examples. And next time we'll do adverbs. Okay, next time, please come up with the whole week. I want you to write your words. How do you develop your vocabulary without doing words? Is it possible? So in the exam, you'll say, I don't know any of these words. Not possible, right? So keep reading. And are you reading the newspapers? Newspaper, current affairs. Right? Keeping on with current affairs? No? How did you appear for interviews? Preparing for interviews, you can do after the results come, but it will be like, okay, I have only 7 days. So even preparing for the interviews is a continuous process. That's why I need to read and keep updating. Okay? Okay, thank you.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Good day, ma'am.